Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour. Hello everyone. After a 2-hour drive through heavy traffic on Sunday, Carol, Jasper, and I are now in Los Angeles. We started off the week by driving to see the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Walk of Fame started in 1953 as a Chamber of Commerce marketing tactic, but today is one of Los Angeles' most famous tourist attractions, drawing an estimated 10 million visitors each year. Initially, there were 4 categories of inductees: motion picture, television, recording or music, and radio. In 1984, theater or live performance was added, making 5 categories. Over 2,600 celebrities make up the Walk of Fame, with numerous celebrities having more than one star. Legendary cowboy singer-entertainer Gene Autry has 5 stars, one in each category, while Bob Hope and several others have 4. Unfortunately, the stars are all outside in the bright California sun, so many pictures didn't come out well, but see how many you recognize. There are 2 different people named Harrison Ford who have earned a star, as well as 2 different people named Michael Jackson who have earned a star. When the singer Michael Jackson died in 2009, a huge crowd of fans gathered to pay tribute to him at the wrong star. Anyone can nominate a celebrity for a star, but the celebrity must agree to be nominated, including agreeing to be present for the dedication ceremony. Part of the nomination process includes listing a sponsor who agrees to pay $40,000 for the star. After walking around looking at stars, we visited the Hollywood sign, which was visible from the Walk of Fame, but we had to drive up a long hill to the Griffith Observatory to get an even better look. On Tuesday, Carol and I toured Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, California. Warner Brothers Studios was founded in 1923. They have operations in film, television, and video games. This is the layout of Warner Brothers Studios lot. There are 36 sound stages ranging in size from 6,000 to 32,000 square feet. Each sound stage is padded with 3 inches of foam to block outside noises from entering. Exterior sets include everything from a Midwest town to a jungle lagoon. If you opened one of the doors on this set, you would see that the room's depth is no more than 8 feet. Any acting that occurs on the inside of the building after walking in would occur in a quiet soundstage. The television show ER, which was based on a busy Los Angeles County General Hospital, was filmed at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank. Here are some of the actors' badges that they wore during the filming. The television show Friends was filmed at Warner Brothers Studios, even though you probably thought it was filmed in New York. Remember that episode where Phoebe was running in Central Park? We were taken to that very spot, along some trees on Warner Brothers' lot. Here is the guitar that Phoebe often played in the Central Perk coffee shop. One of Warner Brothers' recent movie productions was Batman. We were taken to a building that houses some of the recent Batman movie vehicles, although none were actually drivable. Every motion picture and television show starts in the form of a manuscript, commonly known as a script, which sets the foundation of all creative work to come. The script defines the characters, the sequence of events, and the dialogue. Television sitcoms are written by writing teams and are rewritten continuously during the production week. Movie scripts are sometimes the results of studio development projects based on a hit novel or character. Others are original screenplays written by talented writers. Spec scripts are the result of freelance writers without a contract from a studio. Thousands of scripts are written and submitted annually, but only a small percentage make it into development, and then only a fraction of those go into production. An even smaller fraction of those get released or broadcast, and a very select few become hits. Here's a pile of scripts submitted in 2018 that did not make it into production. Casting is the process of selecting performers to play the role in a movie, television show, or video game. The casting director pre-selects a limited number of actors to meet and read for the producers and director. With few exceptions, performers must audition for roles before being hired. Here's a list of potential cast members that have been selected based upon the script. They need a girl between 6 and 9 and a boy between 7 or 9. If the script says that the two children are part of a family, they would need to resemble the characteristics of the parents and probably each other. Potential cast members are then contacted and interviews scheduled. On Thursday, Carol and I toured the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. From the time construction began in 1930 in Clydebank, Scotland, the RMS Queen Mary was destined to stand in a class all its own. Despite suffering economic setbacks during the Great Depression, which stalled construction on the ship for several years, Cunard Cruise Line spared no expense at building the Queen Mary. On May 27, 1936, the Queen Mary departed from Southampton, England, embarking on its maiden voyage, fitted for 2,620 passengers. With 5 dining areas, 2 cocktail bars, and 2 swimming pools, a grand ballroom, a squash court, and even a small hospital, she quickly set a new benchmark in transatlantic travel, which the rich and famous considered as the only civilized way to travel. She quickly seized the hearts and imaginations of the public on both sides of the Atlantic, representing the spirit of an era known for its elegance, class, and style. For 3 years after her maiden voyage, the Queen Mary was the grandest ocean liner in the world, carrying Hollywood celebrities like Bob Hope and Clark Gable, royalty like the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, and dignitaries like Winston Churchill. But when the Queen Mary docked in New York in September 1939, that would be the last time she would carry civilian passengers for many years. As World War II began, the Queen Mary's transformation into a troop ship began. She was painted a camouflage gray color and stripped of her luxurious amenities. Dubbed as the Gray Ghost because of her stealth and stark color, the Queen Mary was the largest and fastest troop ship to sail, capable of transporting as many as 16,000 troops at 30 knots, which is about 30 miles an hour. This was done by what was called hot swap. Soldiers had to sleep in shifts. When you climbed into your bed, it was still warm from the person who had just vacated it. After World War II, the Queen Mary began a 10-month retrofitting process which returned the ship to her original glory. On July 21, 1947, the Queen Mary resumed regular passenger service across the Atlantic Ocean and continued to do so for nearly 20 years. By 1965, the increasing popularity of air travel helped signal the end of an era for the Queen Mary. The entire Cunard fleet was operating at a loss, so they decided to retire and sell the legendary Queen Mary. The city of Long Beach, California purchased the Queen Mary, but the Queen Mary was in New York, and the Queen Mary was too big to fit through the Panama Canal. So on October 31, 1967, the Queen Mary departed on her final cruise, traveling around Cape Horn on the southern tip of South America. She arrived in Long Beach, California 39 days later on December 9, 1967. She has called Southern California her home ever since. The Queen Mary is now a floating hotel, attraction, and event venue. After arriving at the Queen Mary, Carol and I walked around what is called a promenade deck for approximately an hour waiting for our first tour to begin. This is a Carnival cruise ship parked near the Queen Mary. These are large cranes used to unload cargo ships coming into Long Beach. Here is a view of the Long Beach skyline, with boats parked in the harbor in the foreground. An anti-aircraft gun is still mounted to the deck near the front of the ship. Our first tour was called a Steam and Steel Tour, which took us into the belly of the ship. Much of this tour was through dark areas, making it difficult to see or film, but it was still very interesting. We were told that 6 boilers were removed from the ship after it was docked in Long Beach. Here are some of the controls used to run the ship. We were taken to a location where we could see one of the propellers still attached to the ship, and then we were shown this wrench that is used to replace the propeller. Our second tour on the Queen Mary was the Glory Days tour. This tour took us through the Grand Ballroom and showed us how beautiful first-class accommodations had been. Our tour guide said that first-class tickets on the Queen Mary were $1,000 per passenger. Cabin class or second-class tickets were $500 per passenger. And tourist or third-class tickets were $350 per passenger. All decorations you see are original. Entertainers such as Bob Hope often performed on this stage for the first-class passengers. This is a second-class ballroom. Their artwork consists of pictures on the walls. Entertainment was usually limited to a talent contest held by the passengers. Well, this wraps up our tour of Los Angeles. As you are probably aware, the traffic in Los Angeles and its suburbs is legendary. We routinely drove 2 hours to get anywhere we wanted to visit. We will be leaving early Sunday morning for Sequoia National Park. If you like this video but have not yet subscribed, please do so to be notified of future videos, and feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching.